All right, the Speaker of the National Assembly, Thandi Modise, has approved a request by the DA to institute proceedings to remove the public protector from office. The DA tabled the motion for Busisiwe Mkhwebane's removal following a number of negative court judgments against her. Now, last year, Parliament set up new rules to allow for the removal of the head of a Chapter 9 institution. The new rules dictate that a 3-member independent panel should be set up in consultation with political parties to investigate whether evidence exists for the removal. We're joined via Skype now by Natasha Mazzone, the DA Chief Whip, who lodged the motion with Modise's office. A very good evening to you, Natasha. Thanks indeed for your time. So this is what you've been pushing for. Your reaction?
Well, I'm very pleased that the Speaker of Parliament has taken action as swiftly as she has. I was very pleased that she accepted our motion, and I'm very pleased that the rules of Parliament are going to be enacted as quickly as they are. And I look forward to the outcome of this particular issue, because it's a historic moment for Parliament. It's the first time that we have had the opportunity to use the rules of Parliament to question and to look at the competency of a head of one of the Chapter 9 institutions.
Has the Speaker written to you to nominate persons who will sit on that independent panel which will assess grounds for the removal?
She has, and I believe that not only written to me, she's written to all the political parties asking for names of people to sit on that particular panel. What is important is that that panel must be established by the 7th of February. Once it is established, they will have 30 days in which to do their work. At which point they then report to the National Assembly with their findings as to whether or not Parliament then proceeds with the Section 194 subcommittee as in accordance with the Constitution.
Let's go back to initially, why the Democratic Alliance was so persistent in this matter. You believe that the public protector is unfit to hold office. What is it, that they say, was enough, basically, for the Democratic Alliance? We know the litany of court cases against the public protector, but what does the DA believe was, what was final in terms of proving that she was unfit to hold office?
I think that it's very clear that from the onset, the Democratic Alliance voted against the appointment of the public protector. And at the time, we explained fully, Advocate Glynis Breitenbach MP was our representative on that subcommittee, and she explained to Parliament the DA's reasons for not wanting the public protector to be appointed at that time. As you have correctly said, there have been many court cases which found against the public protector over the past year, most especially. And then let's not forget the letter from the whistleblower, which I think was the straw that broke the proverbial camel's back, and really led us to push Parliament to create rules, because Parliament had absolutely no mechanisms in place to deal with someone who is the head of a Chapter 9 institution, should we request or should Parliament want to initiate their removal process.
The Office of the Public Protector is obviously a very important one, and I want to talk about, how do you think the way the Office of the Public Protector has been perceived, or how it's changed under the leadership of Advocate Busisiwe Mkhwebane?
I think that we must acknowledge the fact that there are many good people that work in the Office of the Public Protector. Yeah. And there are people that do our country proud and certainly do us a wonderful service in the Office of the Public Protector. However, as with all organizations, the head of the organization takes the responsibility for the organization. And when you have an advocate who's the head of the Public Protector's Office, as we have now, who has so many court findings against her, makes outrageous statements, as this particular public protector has, that aren't in her ambient of the office to make, it casts a dispersion on the ethicalness and the ethical nature and the viability and the smooth operating of the office. We know that there is a very low morale in the Office of the Public Protector, and given the importance of the Office of the Public Protector, that the Public Protector is there to protect us as South Africans, and it has many times in the past been our final line of defense as South Africans. Yeah. I think that it's very sad that the Office of the Public Protector has been marred in such controversy. And I think we need to fight as members of Parliament to restore its status as one of our top and biggest defenders of South Africa's constitution.
So what are the chances of the public protector's removal? I mean, it's still quite a lengthy process. I'll ask you about approximately how long it will take, how long this process will take. But what are the chances of the public protector's removal? Because there's first this independent panel that has to look at any reasons why she should be removed first.
So, yes, I mean, it's the idea behind the rules of parliament were to make it as quick as possible. Because obviously when it comes to a stage where you are debating the removal of a head of a Chapter 9 institution, it must be of a serious enough nature that Parliament cannot drag its feet. And certainly you couldn't have an inquiry going on for months and certainly not years. Yeah. So once this initial panel has been established, which must be done by the 7th of February, they will have 30 days, and then they have to bring a report to Parliament. Should their recommendation be that there is prima facie evidence that the public protector is not fit and proper, which we believe that we will have sufficient evidence to prove, that will then go to an independent committee established by the Parliament of South Africa. And according to the rules of Parliament, that subcommittee has to act within reasonable time. Now, reasonableness in the case of the Public Protector's Office will obviously be as quickly as possible. And then that report comes to Parliament, and the Speaker then has the responsibility to call urgently a sitting of Parliament to hear the finding of that particular committee. So I don't think that we're in for a very lengthy process. And I do think that we are now at the point where it is a very viable option that the public protector will be removed from office.
All right, thank you very much indeed for your time. Natasha Mazzone, the DA Chief Whip, on the Speaker of the National Assembly, Thandi Modise, approving a request to institute proceedings to remove the public protector from office.